Daniel had always found comfort in the kitchen. The aromas of spices, the sizzle of pans, and the art of transforming simple ingredients into something magical gave him a sense of purpose, a feeling he had longed for since childhood. Growing up in an orphanage, Daniel didn't have much, but what he lacked in material possessions, he made up for with his passion for cooking. Now at 18, the world was daunting, but his dream was simple: to become a chef. It was on an unassuming afternoon, carrying nothing but a tattered suitcase and his determination, that Daniel arrived at the doors of Edeora Ugochukwu's mansion. Edeora was a woman who needed no introduction in Lagos. A business tycoon, her name commanded respect and admiration across Nigeria's corporate world. But behind her powerful exterior lay a heart guarded by pain and mistrust. She had built her empire alone, after the untimely death of her parents, and had no time or interest in love. Her life was structured, busy, and void of the warmth she once craved. Daniel's first encounter with Edeora was intimidating. Her cold stare and distant demeanor made him nervous, but he was determined to prove himself. His role was clear: cook, clean, and stay out of her way. The kitchen, however, became his playground. Each meal Daniel prepared was a masterpiece, flavors so rich, aromas so tantalizing, that they began to break through Edeora's steel exterior. At first, she barely noticed him. Edeora was always busy with meetings, deals, and late-night strategy sessions. But slowly, something changed. One evening, after a particularly rough day at work, Edeora found herself sitting at the dining table long after Daniel had served her dinner. The taste of the dish, simple yet soulful, brought back memories of a time when life was easier, and she was just a girl in her mother's kitchen. For the first time in years, she felt a strange warmth in her chest. Who is this boy? She wondered. Days turned into weeks, and Edeora began staying in the dining room longer, watching Daniel from afar as he moved with grace in the kitchen. His cooking became a language, one she hadn't realized she longed to hear. He wasn't just a cook, there was something about him, a depth, a passion that mirrored her own drive for success. They began sharing conversations over meals. Edeora would recount the challenges of running her empire, while Daniel would talk about his dreams of opening a restaurant one day. A place where people could feel love in every bite, but their blossoming connection didn't go unnoticed. Chief Collins, a longtime friend of Edeora's family and one of her fiercest business rivals, had always had his eye on her, not just for her beauty, but for the power their union would bring. He had always considered Daniel beneath them, unworthy of even being in Edeora's presence. Fueled by jealousy, Chief Collins spread rumors about Daniel, digging into his orphan past and planting seeds of doubt in Edeora's mind. "Can you really trust someone with no family, no roots?" he'd ask Edeora, torn between her feelings and the expectations placed on her by society, began to withdraw. Daniel, sensing the distance, continued to cook with the same love and care, but there was a sadness in his eyes. He had never felt like he belonged anywhere, and now it seemed like even the place he had started to call home was slipping away from him, but fate had other plans. When Edeora's mother, who had been living abroad, suddenly fell ill, it was Daniel who stepped in to take care of her. Edeora watched as he prepared special meals for her mother, carefully tending to her needs with a gentleness that no one had shown the old woman in years. Edeora realized then what she had been running from, her fear of love, of vulnerability. Daniel wasn't just a cook, he was the missing piece in her life. One evening, as they sat together in the quiet of her mansion, Edeora turned to Daniel. "You've given me something I didn't know I needed," she whispered. "Stay, not just as my cook, but as my partner." Their love grew slowly but surely. Together, they faced the challenges thrown at them by Chief Collins and others who questioned their relationship. But Edeora stood firm, determined to fight for the man who had shown her that love didn't have to mean weakness, it could be strength. Daniel, too, found a sense of belonging he had never known. Adeora's support gave him the courage to open his own restaurant, a cozy place where he could share his love of cooking with the world. In the end, their wedding was small, intimate, and filled with the people who mattered most. As Adeora and Daniel stood hand in hand, they knew that their love story had only just begun. It was a love built not just on passion, but on trust, healing,